Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. In today's video, we are showcasing 4 instruction sets that we picked up on Rebrickable for awesome German locomotives and a tank car. All of these instruction sets were designed by Thomas. We recently featured his motorized railway shipping yard that we saw on display at BSBT on the channel. Really excited when I saw the excellent instruction sets that he had designed on Rebrickable. I think these are all going to be excellent additions to our collection and our layout. And, after our trip to Europe, definitely looking to build a number of European locomotives and train cars in addition to the North American ones that we are working on. So first up here, we've got the Deutsche Reichsbahn V100.4. I apologize if my pronunciation is not wonderful, but this locomotive looks great. The model requires 1,336 parts. It can use powered up to give it the ability to move around. But they also talk about the ability to use a 9-volt motor instead, or potentially even to have 2 powered up train motors in there. So definitely some cool opportunities there. It says that this was in widespread use in the GDR from 1966 onward, and was a heavy shunting locomotive that was used in railroad depots. Really love the overall look of the locomotive. Great work around the middle part here with the windows and raised above the 2 end sections. I think the coloring looks really cool as well. Definitely something that will stand out in and around our layout. And they've done a lot of excellent work around the front and lower portions of the locomotive as well. So really cool looking locomotive. I think it'll be an excellent addition to our collection, like I said, and should really stand out and pop on the layout. Now we've got another locomotive here, very similar to the first one, but different coloring and some different parts that are used based on the coloring. Whereas the first locomotive was 1,336 parts. This locomotive here is roughly 1,420, I believe. Same opportunities here for powering it. You can use the powered up 9-volt or even potentially get 2 powered up train motors in there. Some really cool potential with that. And love the different coloring here. They also talk in the instructions that you can swap the tan stripe out for a white stripe. Some really cool opportunities here, and really interested to sort of see how the internals of these builds work. Always a very informative experience, I think, when you build other Lego builders models, and I think it should be a lot of fun to put these together. And really, for me, it just stood out. I love the coloring of both of these, and excited to see how they start to come together and look around the layout here. Worth noting that both of these locomotives are 8-wide models, and I believe they are 1/45th scale. So really cool work, and looking forward to starting to collect the parts together for both of these models. Worth noting, they don't come with parts files to immediately upload to Bricklink, but they do have a list of the part requirements with the quantities and part numbers. So relatively easy to look up and get everything you need off of Bricklink. Just a couple extra steps to get there. Now, coming away from BSBT 2025, one of the things that really struck me was all the amazing work that the builders were doing with circuit cube motors. Really impressive to see, and something that I want to dig into more and try not only with trains, but potentially with other models as well. So it was really cool to see that Thomas had designed this awesome shunting locomotive here. Uh, Smaller locomotive, but really cool design, and I think it should be a lot of fun to try to get this motorized with the circuit cube motor. The model requires 510 bricks, so decent number of bricks, but definitely smaller than some of the other models. It relies on the circuit cube motor for motorizing it and allowing it to move around the layout. You could build it without the motor and just replace those parts with solid bricks, just to have a static model. But like I said, definitely interested to try out the circuit cube motors and see if we can add that in to allow us to have some greater variety in motorized locomotives and vehicles around the layout. And like I mentioned, this was a German shunting locomotive for smaller stations and branch lines. Really cool overall. Love the look of the locomotive. Very distinct and unique. Great front part here. Love the elements that have gone into shaping that. And, just overall, some really interesting parts usage and an interesting look to the locomotive. So, quite excited about this one. I think it'll be cool from a number of different aspects, but overall, a great looking train locomotive that should be a fun addition to the layout and our collection. And then last but not least, I thought the tank car here was excellent. I thought it was at a nice scale and size, would work well and sort of pair up nicely with the small shunting locomotive here. But we've got a cool tank car that requires 395 bricks. It's an 8 wide model at 1/45th scale. And I've got a number of different tank car instruction sets that we have built or are building for the layout here. And, this manages to look very unique and distinct. So I think it will be a cool addition to our collection and a nice, it'll stand out nicely compared to the other tank cars. So cool to have different ones from different areas of the world and, with different sizes and features that are sort of the focal point of them. Overall, though, like I said, I think it'll be a nice one to pair up if we want with the small locomotive here, but it could work well on its own or with some of the other locomotives we have around the layout and that are on the way in our to build stack. So really cool. Love the details across the top here and down the end. Some really nice stuff. And, like I said, interesting to see different ways that various Lego builders tackle problems. You can see from some of the part stuff here, always interesting when builders are utilizing bricks in different ways, parts turned quote unquote sort of inside out, and some different ways to achieve some of these little panels that are sticking out. I think it should be a lot of fun to dig into this deeper and to see how Thomas has gone about solving the problem of recreating this cool tank car. And, overall in general, I think these 4 designs look really cool. Highly recommend checking out Thomas's Rebrickable page. I'll include a link below in the description. And, like I said, definitely a focus for us in the coming weeks and months here. We're going to build a few more European locomotives and train cars. Definitely saw a lot of cool builds and life-size, sort of real trains through our travels in Europe and looking to, branch out and get some different models built and added into the layout here. So link below for Thomas's Rebrickable page. Definitely check that out. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And if you have any suggestions on cool European locomotive or train car instruction sets that I should take a look at or try out, definitely mention those in the comments below. And, also, like I said, looking to play around a bit more with circuit cube motors and designs that utilize those motors. So feel free to make recommendations below for that as well. But definitely some cool stuff that I think we will be working on in the coming weeks. So thank you guys for joining us for this video, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.